Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Part 21. In the previous video we started putting the screws to Mr. Jaws and we have established proof for the gunshots happening during the second set. But we only have one gunshot on the recording, so we gotta find out what happened to the second one. Or not, I don't know if it's important. Were 2 bullets fired from this weapon? Maybe one was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for a mic to catch the first shot. Or maybe she wasn't there to catch the second shot? And the gun fired again, and Mr. Latusa's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescend? Oh, what would Jaws do at this moment? Once again, I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day. Her performance? Seeing this mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, her forehead. What is it with today? Problem is a problem. My hog won't start. Gavin! Stop talking about your hog! This is a family-friendly game! Yep. God, the flashbacks are so bad. I mean, this isn't a bad flashback, but like in general, I'm so tilted by them. Thought it's strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you play. You're better than that. Maybe I'm bad at guitar. Yeah, that's my alibi. You what? Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at? Talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latusa's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. Oh, that's supposed to be the explanation? The kickback's enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait, you mean his plane was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescend? I'm a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur. Standard sidearm issued to the police officers is a .38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, which suggests there was a struggle between the killer and victim. So the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean? The thought had occurred to me, yes. Well, does a witness have anything to say to this? I like how now we're saying, yes, the trained, fully adult police officer wouldn't be able to use the gun effectively, but the 14-year-old child definitely shot it twice, suffering no injuries. Or any sort of, you know, nothing. I mean, it just brings to mind how dumb it was in the first place to even bring up Maki as a... What do you call those things? Suspect? I am kind of surprised though that that they didn't do anything with the window and like shooting from outside of the room, because I really felt like that's what they were going for. Just based on like, because I mean, you know, it seemed like he was shot in the back, just based on the way, you know, he falls forward like this. Because realistically, if he was shot facing the window, he wouldn't fall like this. But I guess he's been, you know, lying there for a long time as well. So maybe rolled over, but it is kind of, that's really what I thought they were going for. You know, the way, I mean, the bullet holes pretty much line up perfectly with the window. They're like level with it as well. What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves, World of Ready for Action, has to say. Are you attorney? Because, I mean, that would be kind of an interesting way. As like, you know, maybe they proved that Maki was in the room when the shooting happened, but it's like, actually, oh, the shooting happened outside of the room, something like that. Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? Got a little noise on the tape. It could be anything. Maybe this is finally the time for the autopsy report. I'm going to be so mad if they never use the autopsy report. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth. You see any bite marks on him? Because if I kill, I eat. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please. Tell us your reasons for why you couldn't have done it. Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy, I got no motive, man. That was the diva's first trip to the country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? We don't really care about motive, except for sometimes we care, but a lot of times we don't care. But I guess we'll care this time. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been in the country before? According to our records, yes, not even once. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you gotta begin the cross-examination. Wasn't he like a secret agent? What if he doesn't show up in the records? Great, now I need to find a motive. Ah, man, screw the motive. We don't need the motive in this game. I mean, we only need it when it suits us. And it doesn't suit us right now. We didn't have a motive for the first case. I mean, we kind of had a motive for the... We really didn't have a motive for the... I mean, we kind of had a motive for the second case. I mean, the actual shooting itself was more just like it just kind of happened in the second case, but... Our manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was... Alright, sorry, an Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? Well, doesn't that mean it's the perfect cover? And not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted. That's cold, dog. Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. Unless he was a delicious manatee. Then I'd kill his ass instantly. That's the same for Maki. No motive was proven for him. Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own, but like, this was his first time working with them. They barely knew each other. Right? I mean, I would presume, that's what they said about Lammy-Roar, so I would presume the same is for Maki if Maki follows her around everywhere. No, he did say that they were friends, which seems a little unlikely if he had just met him there, but I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous there, I guess. More than I sure did. I mean, think about it. Darren, you're a detective with international affairs. Yeah, what of it? Even if this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to this country, you still could have met him prior to the concert. Huh? Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs? Oh, actually, yeah, the name is a misnomer. We don't actually do anything. That's right, well, Detective Krasin. Yeah, that's your game, is it? Guess I better confess then. Confess? Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment. I've never been sent overseas. What? You're an international? See, me and Plains got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much. Stick to the water. It's my home. My condolences, Her Forehead, but he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside this country, I can guarantee it. As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well. That's so unfair. So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert? Fraternize? I don't even know what that word means. I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to go talk to that old Eastern blockhead. Oh. Now the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So you see... I mean, I don't really know how to press that. Did he have an Eastern accent? Really? I couldn't tell from when he talked. I mean, I don't really have any evidence, but I mean, that's obviously something, right? If he doesn't know Kim, he wouldn't know what accent he had. Unless he was listening in on the flashbacks when Apollo does his impression of him before court, because that's how all these flashbacks are. It's just that, like, Apollo has to say, hey, remember this thing that happened? And then he acts it out in front of everyone. But, like, we don't really have anything for that. You sure about that? What? Like that look on your face right do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations, I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget what you're accusing of what. Therefore, perhaps it's best to build your evidence to the talking, yeah? Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know. He's using this motive question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too. Evidence! I mean, the only thing I can think of is that we could present the egg and try and transition into that. But, like, as far as we know, he has no connection to this. So I feel like presenting this doesn't do anything. But I don't know what to do. Why would I want to kill him? Because, I mean, we know it's something to do with this thing, but, like, he doesn't have a connection to it. And so it's like, I don't know if they want, because I feel like if I present this, there's no real link to what he's saying here. And so it's like, I can both see that the game would take it, because it's like, this is the only thing left to explore. But I could also see it being like, well, that doesn't really contradict anything in the statement. You're just showing me an egg. What is this for? And the other statement where he's like, reveals that he knows his nationality is more sus to me, but we don't really have anything to contradict that with. At least that I can see. So I mean, I guess we gotta do something, so I guess we present the egg. I don't know, because it's like, if this is right, I'm a little mad because I feel like it shouldn't be. I mean, is this even where, I guess this is where I'd want to present it, right? I got no motive. What do you say here? Alright. I don't know. We gotta take some sort of shot. I don't like that. Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. Because, like, he has no connection to this. Like, just saying... I don't know. It just feels kind of a leap of logic. It's not. Don't look it, please. Detective Crescend, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What is it? What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Wait, how would he try it if he's not going to lick it? Apollo, that didn't make any sense. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon? Never seen one that color. It's a variety only found in the Republic of Borgina. Nowhere else. Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with a motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it? It does. Wait, I mean, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon? One of those silky cocoons? Kind you can make silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. Curative? Ooh, does it cure male pattern baldness? Asking for a friend. I don't need it. I have a luscious head of hair. Apparently it's the most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It's the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borgina. Whatever for? Seeds of a dead god. If it was such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? They're mean. Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact. What? There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out into the black market. How many years ago? 7 years ago? Caused quite the commotion in the global community. Though the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing! All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others. Yeah, see, that's the funny part, is Interpol. I'm pretty sure Interpol does nothing. I'm sorry if anyone working for Interpol is watching this, but, like, they don't actually do anything, right? I mean, I'm not saying that, like, you know, they shouldn't do anything. I don't have any objection to an international police agency, in theory, but I'm pretty sure they're, like, not allowed to do anything. Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescend, you insist on referring to him as a manager? That is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That's what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder, but, like, he has no connection to it. So, because I just feel like you could easily... Like if I presented the cocoon and it was wrong, you would just be like, oh, well, obviously there's been no connection made to this cocoon. This doesn't mean anything as a motive for murder. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like the answer for why it could be not right is so easy that I don't like it being presented there. Because I feel like we need something else as a bridge to, like, connect him to it, because it could be like we're presenting like pirate's treasure or something, and it's like, as long, it doesn't matter what we're presenting if the Darren guy has no connection to this thing whatsoever that we can prove. It doesn't mean anything. Like, we could be saying that hypothetically, you know, they just had beef or something. Like, we're just making shit up. And it's like, we do just make shit up a lot, but it just feels like this is something that could be so easily ignored that it feels kind of arbitrary that it's the correct decision. But it's like the correct thing you have to present. The one saving grace is that it's like literally the only thing you have left that can be presented. So it's like, it's not a super hard prompt in that sense. Just because you've used the only thing we haven't used is the newspaper article, which is obviously has no connection. But I don't know. I just feel like it's something that, like, if you presented it, the game would make fun of you. Normally. If I was gonna sell it on the black market, I could sell a pretty penny. Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about the smuggling of Cocoon's business. Like, because, I mean, we have no evidence that he had the cocoon, he had anything to do with the cocoon. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm International Affairs, I know the deal. But there is someone who might want to buy one. So I guess that's going to be the connection. Because I was wondering how we're going to use the newspaper article, but I guess it's that the Chief Justice was trying to get one for his son. Or that there's, you know, a local buyer. Interpol, one of these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You just think of the craziest things. No way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Optimal's noble statements, but duly noted. According to the reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Sending them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. The only motive I've got. He was up to something. I'm gonna find out what. But it's like, I don't know, I just think it's weird that they're just taking it as a fact that, like, he could have had something to do with this. Because we still haven't established even, like, a plausible link between Darren and the Cocoon at all. So, I don't know, I feel like this part's a little clumsy. Like, I just feel like it's missing a step that they would have forced us to go through in, like, previous games. That's another, yeah, that's a kind of another reason why it kind of rubs you a little the wrong way. Because I feel like I've tried to do similar shit in previous games, and then they, like, shut you down. And they're like, no, you're jumping ahead of us. You have to do it in the exact right order, but here it's like, yeah, go ahead and jump ahead of us. Now, this game in general, I mean, I've said this several times now, but, like, it does seem to be a bit, like, more streamlined when it comes to presenting evidence. Like, it doesn't, like, you don't have to necessarily spell out every little detail. So it's like, it's not a bad prompt in the sense that it's like, there's no way you could have figured that out, but it's just kind of like, I feel like, logically, it doesn't make that much sense as, like, the progression point for the case. I feel like there's, like, there needed to be some other piece of evidence to somewhat establish a link between Darren and the Cocoon at all, like even just, you know, a slight plausible link, because as it stands we have nothing. That memo, that's how you knew about the Cocoons? Nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You have to know about the Cocoons are playing this. So how well known are these Cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit, I never heard of them. Well, Amroy knew about them, though not about their use. My reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the Cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to export, that's all. And I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah? That includes everyone in the international affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol, too, for that matter. Yeah. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche? No, actually he was the only one in the entire organization. All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. They say, hey, we found a criminal, and they're like, actually we don't have jurisdiction in this country, so you can't do anything. That's why these Cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol snuffing through your wares. Let's get to the conclusion. Dangerous? Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. One other marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. I'm not really seeing the avenue for the newspaper. Wouldn't scarcity drive up prices? Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. You turn your forehead to Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair, too. Who's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market. And that's a bad thing? Don't even try and mess with me about this stuff. Which is why you know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off on international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? Well, I mean, actually there are, but, what do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to, I feel like that sentence makes no sense. Damn, Darren, it's as you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these Cocoons. International Affairs, Interpol, and Borgina Customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies to lap of every word that Diva says. Why, I'd rather be a dog than a shark. Out of what? You want some of this? Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah? Screw cool. I want this guy's head on a stick. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. I mean, I don't really see a good avenue to present this. Let's run back through them. Okay, so I'm thinking like people that know about them are a minority. It's not there. Because I mean, the idea is that he's like, we want him to say like, oh, you know, there's no one to sell it to, and then we present the newspaper. And so he kind of said that at one point. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe this one? Okay, so I think it's here. Because this wouldn't be a black market sale, it would be a single private sale. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keys to goodbye. Well, I said to a black market buyer. How about someone like this? That article. That's about the Chief Justices. Yes, I have very good eyesight. I can read that shit from all the way over here. A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not just a cure for any disease. A cure for incuratus. Incuratus? Wow, that disease sounds positively incurable. I read that somewhere. He went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Aha! Wow, that's a disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying... Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You're saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband? I mean, not even to save his own son's life? Well, I don't know. People in this universe were pretty willing to let a 14-year-old kid get executed over a magic trick earlier, so I don't know. Maybe he doesn't care about his kid. Maybe he wouldn't sacrifice his honor. Even if the deal went through. Why to be international scandal? That's Detective Crescen's insurance. Word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescent, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? As tasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleaze over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof? Well, you know, we don't have any, which is what I've been saying. Yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol and the only ones out there watching this. Borgina Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. Huh, so we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Okay. Everything and everyone gets checked, eh? Just how strict is this customs check? Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows. Yes, it'd be hard to distinguish them. Bailiff! Bailiff! Okay, you already know what I want. That's right, Gavin was in Borgina, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detector several times. Had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you. Gavin, leave the bling at home, you glimmerous fop. I guess this is a whole new testimony. I was like, I didn't know if it was just that one line was changed, or... Because normally, you know, they do the whole witness testimony thing, but if it seems like several lines are changed. You know, they don't redo the whole testimony if it's just like one line is changed, but they didn't do it here. Borgina has this rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. Truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Borgina is a peaceful, pleasant country. This level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. A note that they let people die of a disease that could be treated. Yeah, pretty interesting. That situation. I mean, you would think it would be that, okay, they handle the production of the medicine internally in the country. I could kind of get that, but being like, no, everyone has to die is a little interesting. You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah, need to know a bit for work, sure. Well, we get our reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich. I would be interested in hearing, purely from a legal perspective, of course. For legal reasons, that line was a joke. I weep for our judicial system. I mean, if there's any way to make money smuggling, I mean, you know, smuggling in something to cure someone's son from an incurable disease, seems a little noble. Now, of course, someone could just say, hey, I need it for my sick family member, and they're actually, I'm going to make a deadly poison. That'd be a way to figure out what he was up to. And also, how deadly a poison are we talking about? Because you can buy a lot of deadly poisons at, like, the dollar store. Not like they're like, oh no, we can't let any, like, bleach into the country. Okay, so it's not in... It's just most of the lines are changed. But these first few are the same. Everything gets checked. Arrested on the spot and sentenced to death. There's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. Okay. A way to get them out of there. So we don't really know how Maki did it. And I don't even know what I would present for it. Like the publicity tour? I mean, this kind of feels like the best thing. Like it's the closest connection we can make to getting back to Maki and him being an accomplice. I don't know if it's the best evidence though. Or like it feels so random just being like, yeah, okay, look at this postcard. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that made as much sense as presenting the egg earlier. If I'm being honest. I mean, do you say anything new on the first two lines if we press them now? Nah, this is still the same. And this is still the same, right? Just how strict is this customs check? It's very strict. Okay, nothing there. Rep, hardcore security. A way to get cocoons out of there. I mean, there's the guitar. It is a gift from Lammeror. Oh yeah, because they said it didn't go by plane, right? Actually, there is one way. What does it actually say on the piece of evidence? Okay, it does say sent from Borghino on it at least. But yeah, they mentioned that it wasn't sent by plane. Actually, there is one way. That's a really good one. That's like by far, I think, the best prompt in the case. What? One way to get something out of the country, no checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lammeror. How did it end up here? She made a present of it. Yep. Yep, yeah, yeah, it's me, Caviar. Anybody ever gonna call me that? It's kind of like caviar. I like caviar. Just like my buddy Darren. He's always talking about how he likes to eat fish type things. I think he's got a problem. I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Borghina. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. You said the guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Borghina. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, her forehead. Hello, it's me! Caviar! Claviar! This is my real voice. Everything else is just an act I put on when I try and sound smooth and suave, or at least as close as I can be to sounding like that. It's called the sound hole. Yeah, that's right. The sound hole. Where does the sound go? Yes, the sound hole. Broken device of some sort. A broken device? An igniter! Exactly. Consider this if you will. What if the igniter was the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. Ah! Everyone's screaming! There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. And they could use Picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. York! We still technically have no actual evidence linking this man to the cocoon. I'm just saying. This has all been done off of, like, them just seeming to roll with the idea that we have no evidence. So the igniter. It's placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. Precaution? Her forehead. And last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lemuro's ballad, if you will. First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor. You're probably surprised we're not showing the little cutscene again. Well, even we thought it'd be excessive to show it 1,000 times. Which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. He was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only member of the band could get near that case. Wrapping the guitar raised too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Ah! Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. Let's cut to him in a flashback. Remember when he died? He would have known about the guitar. You'd only have to check the shipping records. Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. The cocoon were confiscated then the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch now! The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then... Mr. Latouche died. Hey, want to revisit how he died? Or what his last words? With Lemuroy there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man. Dr. Persin. That does also bring the question of, like, so did he just happen, like, Latouche, did he just happen to know about the magic trick as well? Because, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he knew the way it worked for, like, security reasons. But at the same time, it does seem like they never established that he knew. And there isn't really a reason for him to have known the specifics of how the magic trick worked. Because Because the only reason he would have even known that Lamriel was there to, you know, hear everything and name her as a witness was because he would have had to have known the exact specifics of the magic trick. I gotta know, you make that all up on the fly? Or a made-up story? It makes a great deal of sense, Darren. Public of Borgina. Sorry, man. I haven't even been there. Landlocked. Can't swim. I mean, I can swim, but I can't swim there. Because it's landlocked. Let's see, make up a story for that kid. How'd I have the cocoon in the first place, huh? Not so hard to imagine. You had help. Borgian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamriel heard proves it. You made this transmission from backstage. But your co-conspirator was on stage. Who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. Only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. Well, be warned. With great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? It was you, Phoenix Wright. There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Maki Tobe. But, Mr. Justice, he's your client. You've gotten him executed. You're a horrible defendant. Justice, what do you call these things? Defense attorneys. Defense attorney accusing his client. That's a new one. And I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But here I am to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. But like, seriously, he's gonna get deported and sent back to his country where they're gonna execute him. You've killed this small child, Apollo. Do you feel bad? As I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. I tell you, the defendant is Borgian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. What if it was in fact Lamriel? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. She was in the duck, dummy. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? All this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. That's true. Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamriel was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is an area the remote could reach in the air vent. Just take my word for it. Looking at this, I mean, this map isn't drawn to scale. That doesn't mean anything. It seems that Lamriel could have still done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamriel stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamriel's position in the air vent. Well, I mean, when they say 30 feet, it's kind of an approximation. I mean, it's really only slightly off. It probably would have still worked. You know, they generally kind of undercut that stuff. Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, Detective? You see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. I guess. I don't know, they spent a lot of their budget on it, so why not? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. We still have no evidence linking him to this egg, by the way. Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, and now punk. You lose a rank fast, Apollo. Well, you know what? They're just gonna start straight up calling you slurs. What exactly are we supposed to see in this video? Problem isn't what we see. Correct, Darren. Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. Here to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get the yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the pianist to set off the igniter? Alright. Yes? Oh, they're gonna say because he was playing the piano, he couldn't have done it, maybe? Like his hand was busy? In order to do that, you have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? I do kind of like this defense, though. Kind of clever. But isn't Maki goated? Think he can't one-hand piano flip a switch? I mean, you gotta be pretty dexterous to play the piano well, so... And plus, it's a pretty slow song. I believe he could one-hand that shit. What seems to be the problem? Piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? I mean, it's a pretty slow song. I think he could do it. You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The one with her hands free was the diva. Lemuel. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Well, it really doesn't matter who the accomplice was at this point. If you're accepting there was an accomplice, you've already accepted guilt. You should really be objecting to the fact that there's no evidence linking him to the egg at all. Your accomplice have a hard time helping out. They couldn't even press a switch. And we have one. He's basically accepting his guilt. He's just arguing over the, like, tiny details. Because he's already conceded that there was an accomplice, which means the crime took place. And that he would have been the perpetrator. Because really, he should be like, you still have no actual evidence at all linking me to the crime. Piano plays non-stop. Couldn't have pressed that switch. No. He could have. Well, Mr. Justice, piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay, we all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice? Machitobe didn't press that switch. And he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. Everything points to it. Every fact says that he's the accomplice. Accomplice? You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar's on fire. The pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story's full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Machitobe, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Oh, if Maki's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I mean, I guess. I know that it has to be him. I mean, it really isn't, though, because it's like, okay, whether or not it was, you know, Maki or Lemuel, it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to get this guy. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. Had to press that switch. Better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? It has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something strange in the neighborhood. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What's Gavin saying just now? Strange. Bro, this literally just happened. There's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? I mean, I don't know. Do I have to, like, listen to the mixing board again? Which one is it? I'm hitting the button. Nothing's happening. Yeah, that's not the piano. I have no clue what part it was at. I don't know. But we're not going to find anything there. Or if we are, it's going to take too long. Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machitobe pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Confidence save. 100% confidence. Okay, I can prove it. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. This prosecutor falls to me to ask you to show up the evidence supporting this. The forehead. You sure about this? Except there's no evidence, man. What's your evidence, Mr. Justice? What do you base your claim the defendant pressed that switch? I mean, I'm guessing it's something to do with, like, the music was off, actually, but... like, maybe what he was playing didn't line up with, like, what was written in the melody, but, like... I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's gotta be mixing board. I'm so annoyed they never used the autopsy. Videotape. And we do see like a very brief shot of Maki here. I mean, nothing's really off there. It's just a still image. And it wouldn't have happened until a decent bit later. I mean, is his ass at the piano? I mean, there's kind of a silhouette, which I assume is supposed to be him. Like, I don't know if that means anything. Man, it doesn't sound off. Like, does it maybe like the music repeats? Because the only thing I can think of is that it's like, okay, he's like playing, because it's like if he's one-handed it, maybe he's like playing the music differently than it was written, but we don't know what it was written to be, you know? Because, I mean, it does sound like not as many notes are being hit in this section. That's what it kind of sounds like to me, at least. And we can't, like, see, like, an earpiece on him in the video, right? Or nothing? Pretty sure you can't. I mean, you can't really see anything here. Now, his ass is not shown when they zoom out here. I mean, there's like a silhouette there. I mean, I guess it's supposed to just... we're supposed to just buy that's him. I don't think that's supposed to be it, that he like moved away or nothing. Alright, we'll try a mixing board. The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? I hate music. Haven't been anything good since the twist. Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Huh, I hear a piano being played. But, doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Maki could have played that part with one hand? That's what I was saying. I said he's goated with the sauce. Your Honor, my client can't be guilty because he is goated with the sauce. Ah, well, in that case closed. Defendant, you're not guilty. That's the way this case should end. With that exact line of dialogue. He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Wait, so we got a piano savant? Actually, no. What do you know? Can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I know. Hey, Trucy. You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry, so sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with 1 hand or 2? You can't. Well, we could have him play it. I admit it'd be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with 1 hand. How do you know that? The clue is that Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No way. Well, seems we're coming to the moment of truth at last. Let's see what Mr. Just has to say for himself. I don't know what Mr. Just has to say. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with 1 hand. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Maki was definitely playing 1 handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. Okay, we have 3 sections now. I can't make it play. Can I hear the music, or does I have to guess? Okay, it was like we were like locked in. No, I don't want to. I just want to skip to this part. Okay, there we go. We skip with this thing. We don't click on it. I thought we could have both. I mean, it would be this part, right? I mean, this still sounds... Both parts sound pretty simple. This part sounds the most simple. Oh, the whole thing sounds pretty much the exact same. Oh, no, actually this part maybe. And that's pretty much just the same notes over and over again. I'm gonna go with part 4. Okay, stop. That's a section. I'm afraid I don't hear it. God damn it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? A beautiful song. The lyrics are outstanding. I'll take it to mean there isn't a problem with this section at all. Wait, so what was the odd thing Gavin heard? So we're just pressing the first half of the second verse, right? Okay, first half. Alright, cool. Thanks for not punishing me for not knowing how to read music. I don't know, the whole thing sounded pretty simple to me, but like, I guess it's one of the first 2? No, back. I mean, this is what I said at first. I mean, I feel like this isn't any more complex than the 4th part. That's a section. I'm afraid. What do you mean you don't hear it? The fuck are you talking about? Do I need to pause it to the exact right? I don't know. First part then. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you realize by now. Just what it was that sounded odd to you. You realized to yourself, her forehead. Realized what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to but a fleeting melody phrase. There's no phrase, you idiots! There's no vocals! Okay, at least we're seeing the text here. How many times do I have to listen to the same thing? You're right. Enough of that. Once again, we still have no evidence linking this man to the cocoon at all. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section. Guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh, that night in your embrace." Ah, play verse 2 again. Oh, stop. I'm gonna say it, this case is dog shit. Where's the editor? Where is he? You could cut this case in half. I mean, like, I think it has some cool parts. Like, I mean, the story's okay. There's some stuff I like, but holy shit, the pacing is so bad. They're very clearly different. Like, I mean, I like this music part. I liked when we presented the thing earlier. Can't remember the thing that I said was good. What was it that I said was good? Oh, presenting the guitar. That's a really cool part. That's probably my favorite, like, actual, like, aha moment in the game so far. Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 2 has high and low notes. You have to use two hands to play that for sure. What's that prove? I think you know that by now. That's why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. But the two verses are different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Darren. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Ask yourselves why Maki changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Order, order, order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin. Yes, quite. But personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. No comeback? Can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well, barring an objection from the prosecution. I don't know, we haven't vibe checked his ass. It's not over till we vibe check him. I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. Hey, we're back to Sleeves. It's not over. I don't like when he looks so happy. You ever seen a shark smile? You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, her forehead. Me? Don't get me wrong. Your case is solid. Facts all check out, but even now, you still literally have no evidence that he did any of this. If you have to show us a single piece of decisive evidence, I mean, at least they call it out eventually. But it is kind of like, we got to do this whole long tirade without ever establishing any sort of connection. But the facts, anyone can see it was him. Fortunately, anyone does not include the law. You were literally just about to say he was guilty, you piece of... I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But... Thousand facts might point to the same conclusion. But without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's ruined our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Well, I guess we're just going to kill the 14-year-old then. Oh, we could just not convict anyone. Nope, somebody's got to die. Oh, I think he did. We would already have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate. But at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. We gotta get some fabricated evidence. Quick, to the Phoenix Mobile! Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Paula, remember what Daddy said? Won't be easy proving he did it. Especially under the current court system. What do I do? It will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Find his yeah, gotta vibe check his ass. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. Well, we're not gonna be able to finish this case in this video, so we're gonna go ahead and call it here. And we will find out what his igniter is next time. We will put some blood in the water and see if Shark Boy bites. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.